Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Ballmeister.
And we've got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them. Send his favorites over to us. We are going to be playing some Pioneer today on Versus Live.
Oh,
there was
yeah.
a lot of Pioneer tournaments over the last week, several challenges, several super qualifiers, and then the Lotus Box event on Sunday, which was, 250 people-ish.
Yeah, those tournaments have been large. I played in one of them. They are a grind, but pretty cool tournaments.
Yeah, so a lot of data to go over, a lot of decks to go over, and, there was some, a lot of the decks that we expected, but also new twists on them and some new decks. So Pioneer seemed to evolve quite a bit. We had seen the format narrow behind a lot of the companion decks, really, the Heliod Yorion deck, Lurrus Burn, Lurrus Auras, alongside a little bit of Inverter, and then Lotus Breach to counteract them.
Yeah.
And that narrow metagame seems to be exploitable because a lot of people sort of juked a little bit to try to take advantage of it. And so we're going to feature a little bit of everything today. And I'm going to be starting with one of the sort of breakout decks from the last week, and that is Abzan Rally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a spicy one.
This was actually the deck I played in the Lotus Box event, and had I played a little bit better, I probably would have been right up there near the top of the standings.
Yeah, how'd you finish?
I dropped out 3-3.
Okay, I gotcha.
The last two matches were completely my fault.
Okay.
It was my first tournament with the deck. I haven't been able to win with anything in Pioneer for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I just woke up and I'm like, I got to play this tournament. When I had gone
We're going to rally back for this one?
When I had gone to sleep, I thought, it's like, I'll just play Auras of Auras. Like, I know it's powerful and good.
Yeah.
And, I haven't gotten to that one yet. I had tried like Lurrus Burn. I tried some Yorion decks. And so I'll just play the Auras deck. And then when I woke up, I was like, I don't want to play that deck. This rally deck might be cool. I hope it's good. Yeah. And I played it, and I'm like, when I was 3-1, I'm like, man, this deck really is good.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely powerful. I played against it once. I played one of the Pioneer Super Qualifiers. I played a little Jeskai Super Friends because I just love the synergy with Fires and Yorion. I can't get enough. I'm officially hooked. But, I beat it there because they didn't have their draw really come together, didn't really have the pieces on time, but it did look like a really powerful deck.
Yeah. I was doing some good things with it. I retooled the deck a little bit to this list, actually, and played it last night on stream, 5-0 to League. So definitely some potential here.
It makes sense to me why the deck is still good, right? Because it was just so dominant in Standard, and you still really have all the same cards. It's built in a lot different of a way because of the companion Lurrus, obviously. Doesn't allow you to play like Catacomb Sifter, right? Like that was pretty big. Grim Horrespect was a card there. Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of going a little bit bigger. And who knows which one is better, because that deck was a finely tuned machine. I'd be curious to just try that again, but this version does seem pretty sweet.
Yeah, Lurrus is a pretty big deal for being able to rebuy some of your key pieces. You know, most people are trying to kill your Priest of Forgotten Gods and your Fiend Artisans, these cards that can really take over a game. And then on turn 5, when you have, Lurrus recast one of those, you force them to have 2 more removal spells almost immediately.
Yeah.
It works out really well. So this deck, a little bit less of an aggro deck than I would say the old Standard Rally, which definitely could just,
could close on a game,
especially with Collected Company.
Yeah.
Fiend Artisan is kind of your aggro plan. If you ever just make some big Fiend Artisans, they can beat down, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Most of the time you really are just eventually setting up the sacrifice synergies and killing outside of combat.
Yeah, kind of trading your Jace kind of slow interactive card that gives you some longevity with your graveyard for something that can just get you dead with Fiend Artisan. So I like it. So I'm going to be playing a much more odd deck than that one, but it's an Obosh deck.
Too early in the show.
Let's go. Hey,
too early in the show.
It's never too early for companion puns, okay?
It's just the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Basically on the ground.
I'll pick it every single time.
It's rotting over. There's a worm coming out of it.
That's where I live. That's the bottom level of puns. That's the ones I get. I don't want those really tough ones to get like Luis. I mean, he's got that branded. He gets the good puns and often puns. I'll get the worst ones.
You're a pun vulture. You're just scavenging for the rotting remains of the carcass of an old joke.
Whatever puns are left after everybody's already made them. Yeah, that's Corey B.
Absent chat, please.
What?
F's in chat, please.
Yeah.
F's in chat. Okay,
Once
perfect.
everyone has beaten the dead horse, and then it's the carcass has been mostly picked clean, then you come by.
Then I'll come back. Give it a
feast.
week first to make sure people, kind of forget about it, and then bring it back.
Develop.
Exactly. But I'm going to be playing a mono red strategy with Obosh here. I feel like, red already was kind of 1s and 3s. You're missing out on a little bit as far as 2s, but I don't think you lose much with Obosh. And I think the biggest gain with Obosh is these red decks are just playing lands. I feel like the way I always lost with red is just never hitting my 3rd land or whatever. But with Obosh, you're incentivized to play a little bit more high of a land count and just be able to curve out smoothly. Always have a curve topper to really kind of push that damage over the top. You get some nice ones like Collective Defiance to be able to maximize with this. You still get to play Bone Crusher Giant as a 2-drop. I really like what this deck is doing, and I think it's able to compete with the combo decks, which I think going into a tournament, that has to be step number 1 for me, is Breach and Inverter. People are trying a lot of different things because Companions have, in a way, opened the metagame up, but these are still the decks you're going to have to beat, and in my opinion, the best decks are still the combo decks.
Yeah, definitely something that you have to contend with. I would say the only major loss, the one that I really feel, is you don't get access to Eidolon of the Great Revel.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would still consider sideboarding that if against combo decks and just foregoing Obosh in those matchups.
Yeah, because turn 5, you're either going to win or not against the combo decks. Like, it's already pretty clear, and Eidolon is that way to disrupt a little bit. So I could see that too. I don't think people are doing that enough with Companions, is trying to sideboard stuff that doesn't necessarily work with it, where you're having a problem matchup, because that's where these Companions are really exploitable, and that's what people are doing. People are exploiting the fact, like, okay, they don't have Eidolons in this matchup. They don't have Mystical Disputes with Gyruda. All these specific things that you look at a Companion and be like, I don't have to worry about X, Y, or Z. So if you juke and you put something in, of course, at the start of the game, they're kind of going to have an idea that, okay, well, we're going to have some even stuff here.
But if they haven't sideboarded appropriately, then, it probably doesn't matter that they know how they're going to die.
Exactly. Be like, oh, Eidolon will kill me now. That's too bad.
So I agree there. I like the Obosh red decks quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially that, like, these red decks have good anti-flood protection too. If you're worried about that, you're playing Castle Embereth and Ramunap Ruins, so you're getting a lot of value out of your mana base.
Mutavault as well.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Mutavault.
No, and that's the one thing that I, had the big problem with, is I would just never draw a 3rd land when I have Rabble Master, and I'm like, well, I'm not playing this 18 land deck anymore. But we've upped the count significantly, and I'm ready to get into it.
Let's do it.
All right, I was the victor. I just utterly destroyed you last week, so I got the marbles. In case anyone didn't check that out.
It's gonna be a quick show.
Let's get at least D's for that. Come on, that was not bad. Not bad. All right. Okay.
My hand looks good.
My hand is passable. I think I'm going to keep this as well. Let's battle.
Plains, Hunted Witness.
Hunted Witness. Okay. All right. I'm just going to crash in for 1.
19.
Your turn. So I can see this matchup being, pretty one-sided regardless. Either you're going to be able to rally back, and the amount of just creatures I get to play on a given basis, you're going to be able to overwhelm pretty easily. But if you don't get those graveyard synergies together, I think it'll be a little bit tougher for you.
Okay. I'll go to 17, and I will play a Satyr Wayfinder.
Satyr Wayfinder, okay. Speak of the devil.
Okay, there is a Concealed Courtyard, and we mill 3 other creatures, which is nice.
That's ideal.
And I think I want to play very defensively, so I'm just going to pass the turn here.
Okay. I'm going to untap. Let's play... Let's get a mountain down, and I'll crunch on in.
So I can double block here. Corey is threatening either Wild Slash or Stomp, which would go upstairs. I would lose both of my creatures.
But sometimes that's kind of what you want to do with that deck. So it's a little scary. I feel like I'm doing one thing. I'm trying to get you dead. So I'll be attacking.
I'm going to take this.
Okay, just take 1.
That's 16.
Your turn. All right.
Not a great set of draws here, but I will continue casting creatures. So this is why I didn't double block. This does leave you open to kill the Cruel Celebrant, but now you're going to need another burn spell on the next turn to attack, and a burn spell for the Celebrant, so I'll pass.
All right, I will stomp that. Put this on an adventure.
Celebrant triggers, so 19 for you, 17 for me.
That's what I got. Okay, all on top. Interesting draw here. So now I kind of have the dilemma of do I want to attack and, try to interact, and then I kind of miss out on playing a 3-drop, Bone Crusher Giant, maybe something else. I think that's a little bit more important, and I think Ross would recognize the double block kind of sets me back a little bit more on turn 3 than it does on turn 2. So we're going to just play Frostodon. Pass to you. Frostodon has got to be quite good in this matchup. Not only do you bring a lot of creatures back, but you have a lot of ways to gain life and stuff. So I think this is something that's going to be quite good in this matchup.
Very much agree. Definitely scared of that one. So we're just going to have to build our board in the face of it and hope to maybe trade off for it.
Okay.
So I'll play this tapped, and I've got another Hunted Witness and a Celebrant.
Okay.
So that's 2 damage to me. I go to 15.
Yep. Checks out.
I'll pass the turn.
Okay. Now you got a big board to block my stuff.
4 creatures, so if Frostodon wants to get in, Corey has to have 2 burn spells. Which is kind of tough. You don't have a ton of burn in that deck.
I don't have an outrageous amount, that's for sure.
You have 3 in hand?
I have 4 in hand.
4 in hand.
So the creature I just drew is not great. Don't really want to jam that right now. But I do want to attack, because that's all my deck does. So we'll get in there.
So you just have 2 burn spells?
You never know. I do have 2 burn spells in my deck, so it's not an outside possibility here. Okay. I will Wild Slash this to start.
So you lose 1.
Yep. You don't gain. And then I will shock. It doesn't really matter, I guess. So shock 1.
I'm going to take 2 when the Hunted Witnesses trigger and take 3 off of this.
Yep. So you're going to take 3 from that. You're going to go to 12, and then you're going to go to 10.
10. Yep.
Okay. And then I will play a post-combat Bomi. All right. I'll take 1 for that and go to 17 and pass to you. Bomat, not really a great attacker with a Cruel Celebrant there, so didn't want to play that pre-combat.
Okay. I will shock to 8.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to play a Lurrus to 7 and then a Fiend Artisan to 6.
Okay, that's large.
It is quite big. I have 7 creatures in the graveyard, so it's an 8/8.
All right.
And I'll pass the turn.
Oh, that's terrifying. That's going to shut down my attacks pretty effectively. Now, I could just try to get an Obosh down just to be mana efficient. It's not going to do a ton to me. Oh, wow. Obosh and Frostodon do some nasty work together.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're at 15.
Yep, I'm at 15. I don't really want to attack into your thing, so I'll pass to you.
Yeah, I'm in a rough spot here where I'm not sure Corey has to attack at all.
Yeah, I just say go. You can only play 2 creatures before you die, and if you get too aggressive, I just get to crack back. So I think this is going to be pretty rough for you. You could cast Rally right now. That'd be a pretty successful Rally.
I mean, if I had Cartel Aristocrat, I might be able to kill you with the triggers on the stack.
Yeah.
So if I tried to attack with Fiend Artisan, you could just take it. Yeah, you would just take it and crack back, and that would kill me. Yeah, because I could double block here, block one more thing, block like this, and this is, or block here, I mean.
Yep.
And then this is 2, 2, 2.
Yep.
So I can't attack with a Fiend Artisan.
Love that. And these life linkers are looking a little embarrassing. Their keyword has been taken away thanks to the once banned standard card.
Yep. Do I want to even cast a creature from my graveyard and go to 4?
Yeah, that's a rough spot. Lurrus is shut down. All your lifelink is shut down. Frostodon cannot be your best friend.
I actually think my only shot here is that play where I like kill you with all these triggers on the stack. And if I'm gonna do that, I probably need to just play a Satyr Wayfinder and hit the Cartel Aristocrat. Though I guess if I draw Rally, I could potentially Fiend Artisan into the Cartel first. And then I've got another land in my hand. I would shock for that. I would.
Oh, because you could pay 3 total to just get 1 in play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But would that be lethal? So if I sacked, this, got Cartel, then Cartelled back 3, 6, 7 creatures with 2 Celebrants, you're at 15. That would be lethal. 1, 2, yeah.
Be lethal with you taking like 14 damage on the stack?
Yeah. So I don't think I need to play any more creatures.
Okay.
I think I just need to rip Rally and hope you don't have any burn in your hand. Guess, though, what happens if you just have like a Wild Slash for the Lurrus and then attack with everything? You would... I wouldn't be able to double block Frostodon. I'd be able to eat the Obosh, which I guess is good. And then I guess I would have to double block Frostodon, and then this is actually still lethal.
Because you don't gain life even if this dies.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So actually, but an extra blocker doesn't even help that, because I'm going to take 2 to soak up 2 more damage. So I can't beat any burn spell. So, yeah, I'll just pass the turn.
All right.
If you don't have burn, and hope I rip a Rally.
Okay, I will go with Bomat, animate Mutavault, and attack, and I have a shock. Yeah, that's a good beating there, that's for sure.
Yeah, Rampaging Frostodon was key there. Without that, I think that came pretty easily in my hands.
Yeah, because I can't really attack, and it's like, I'm gonna top deck a shock now to deal you 2, or deal you 4 even.
I guess you had the shock for the Lurrus at that point, but I still have this huge Fiend Artisan.
Yeah, I would have went like shock, Bomat, Bone Crusher Giant, and then attack with everything. Whatever Bomat you block, I get to draw a card. But yeah, I mean, it would have been a normal game of you having bigger creatures against little red creatures. Yep. But yeah, Frostodon was just excellent there. So
okay,
all right, we are going to take a short break. We are going to head to sideboarding. I'm guessing you're going to need some creature removal for that.
Indeed, I will.
And I'm going to try to be containing Ross in a cage. So we'll see you here in sideboarding at Versus Live.
Hello, welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Abzan Rally and Obosh Red.
Oh yeah.
On my side, as Corey said before the break, we're bringing in removal.
Yep.
So we got our Deadweights to synergize with Lurrus. I like Assassin's Trophy over Abrupt Decay just because it handles all sorts of things. Like I can kill the Obosh now, I can kill stuff like Stormwrath Dragon, but it still handles Grafdigger's Cage as well. Just generally, my philosophy is if my deck does not have room for very much removal, I want the most versatile removal spell possible.
Yeah, and when you're a deck that's kind of essentially trying to combo kill, you don't care if they get that extra land as much. So I agree with you. I think Trophy is pretty good.
Yeah, and then I'm playing some Dire Tactics just to get some exile removal.
Okay.
Not great in this matchup, but in general is pretty good, in a Lurrus metagame. And the deck actually does have a good number of humans.
Yeah.
Hunted Witness, Priest of Forgotten Gods, so we're bringing it out in this matchup.
Yeah.
I think there's 17 in the main. I'm bringing out 5, so there's still 12 humans. So
seems fine. And I mean, I'm playing such little creatures that the life loss isn't horrible, but of course against mono red, you don't want to be dealing yourself too much damage by your own things.
But this is significantly better against something like Orzhov Horus that isn't killing your creatures. Emperor Priest is staying in.
Oh yeah.
You get some exile removal against them.
Yep.
And then I'm cutting Priest against the 8 shock deck. You would think Priest good against a creature deck, and it is if you get on tap with it, but it just doesn't happen in this matchup.
Yeah, no, just way too easy to kill. Plus, even if you do get it to resolve and actually activate the ability, it's like, yeah, I'm sacking a 1-drop, or a Rabble token to make it even worse, a Rabble Master token. So yeah, I agree with you. That doesn't seem great.
Trimming the 1 Drannith Magistrate, which does have some applications here, like the 1/3 body can sometimes block well. It doesn't survive all the shocks, and it stops Bonecrusher Giant if you stomp it first.
Oh, yep.
And stops Obosh, but just so not the axis I really want to be fighting on in this matchup.
Yeah.
And certainly not going to spend time tutoring for it with Fiend Artisan. So we trim that one, leave the deck's primary engine as intact as possible, and then I usually trim on some number of the white cards, the return cards in sideboarding, especially when I'm bringing in a bunch of removal and my deck is more creature light. And if I'm playing that more fair game, Return to the Ranks is a little bit better because I can just fire it off, have a battlefield established, kill a creature or 2 of yours, and just win that way, as opposed to having to set up the full combo. And presumably, you're going to have some more disruption for the matchup. And Rally is the one that is most powerful when everything is humming, but also has the lowest floor.
Yep, and it makes sense when you're trying to, in this matchup, slow down and be a little bit more of the mid-range deck. Just kill a couple key things, make sure you get Frosted on off the battlefield, and then you just have bigger creatures with Fiend Artisan and stuff like that. Ironically, your only 2-drop deck has bigger creatures than the Obosh deck, but all right,
gotta get some evens.
Yeah, exactly.
Creatures are big.
Exactly. So for me, I'm going to be taking out Bowmats for sure, especially on the draw. You have too many Hunted Witness type effects, or even Cruel Celebrant. That's a 1/2. Does not line up. We even saw it be quite awkward. This last game, I was just able to go wide enough to take it down. Also taking out 2 Collective Defiance. I think that's the next worst card in this matchup. I never want you to be discarding your hand and drawing a new one. That seems pretty bad against the Rally deck. Bringing in Grafdigger's Cage seems like a no-brainer. Shuts down a lot of your deck, if not everything. So
if you're worried about this matchup, if you've been running into it recently, Cage is the card you want in your side.
Yeah, Cage seems super good. Stormbreath Dragon, just for the key words of flying and haste. It's really tough for you to block this card, and I mean, you do have some ways to kill it.
Really only these. This is white.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, if I ever get to attack with this with an Obosh out, I'll take 8 out of nowhere. That is pretty dangerous, Yeah. And then I'm trying this out. I'm not sure about this, but Kari's Expertise, I think, is just pretty decent anyways. If I can take or even target one of your sacrifice creatures, at least it's just a removal spell. It kind of fizzles then, so it's not ideal. But just taking your Fiend Artisan to get around combat. My Fiend Artisans, of course, are not going to be as big as yours will be, but it is good at just clearing a blocker and then still having a little bit more of damage to push through. Seems great to me. Plus, you get the free spell. I think this one kind of seems like a no-brainer.
So, I think there's more upside there than with Collective Defiance, right?
Agreed,
so
yeah. This is just going to be a removal spell most of the time. I'm almost never going to want to use the other ability except 3 to the face, on turn 4 or something like that. And we left in 2 of them, so I don't think the card is terrible or anything, but it's definitely not, insane.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rob, my favorite part of the show, you got any questions?
Yes. Nick Dem would like to know, in Standard, if you want to combat the Yorion Luca decks, what should you be looking to do?
That's a good question, because I think that deck is the best deck in Standard right now. I think the best thing to be doing against it is the Boros Cycling deck. That matchup is pretty well established from people who were talking about, the finals of the weekend championship event here on Sunday, that's the real bad matchup. So I think I would want to be playing that deck. Also, just playing maybe the Bant Yorion list with just a bunch more counterspells, I think is reasonable as well, because it is a Fires deck, so it's playing sorcery speed magic. So that's what you want to be doing, is taking advantage of that. And hyper aggressive decks like the Cycling deck, and then permission counter magic and stuff like that, I think is what I would start with. Yeah. You got one more there?
Yeah, kind of building off that to a different format.
Okay.
Have you all seen the Zerta Jeskai Cycling deck in Pioneer, and what do you think about that?
You were kind of telling me about this on the ride up here, but I hadn't, so I'll leave you with that one.
Top 4 to recent challenge. I haven't played with the deck at all, though I did watch Todd Anderson stream with it a little bit yesterday.
Okay.
And honestly, was pretty impressed. It's ostensibly a Azorius control deck, splashing for Zenith Flare. And you would think in a deck that needs to play a ton of cycling cards, this deck plays 32 of them, that you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but you really aren't. There's a good density of them. Cast Out, Neutralize, Hieroglyphic Illumination, and then Flourishing Fox looks a little out of place, but I actually like it quite a bit in the deck, because in the matchups where you don't want to play an early creature, you just cycle it for 1. That's easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's only marginally worse than Opt, and it sets up all these synergies. But against Lotus Breach, Nozorius Control has good tools against Lotus Breach to stop them for a little while.
Yeah.
But they just don't have the pressure to go along with it. And the Breach deck just, eventually reloads often enough to.
Yeah, they spend every turn, adding 3 mana to their pool, for the rest of the game.
Or they eventually get like a Thought Distortion off, and that ends the game. So you really do need to pressure them, and Fox gives you the ability to do that. And in that deck, when you have Zenith Flare, which is a huge reach card, you can actually end games out of nowhere.
Yeah, and Shark Typhoons when you're leaving up counter magic, and then you're able to cycle, whenever you don't need to play a bunch of counter magic. That seems good to me. It seems like a good recipe.
It seems almost like an aggro control deck at that point.
Yeah.
But more on the controlling side. Most aggro control decks look like they have a good number of cheap creatures. This deck can play like it has none, which is really nice. So it's kind of unique in that aspect, and I think that versatility is going to play really well. So I'm excited to see what that deck does.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in action yet. I played the Pioneer Super Qualifier, this last weekend, but that's the last I played for Pioneer for the weekend. But that seems like a new spicy deck.
Yeah.
And honestly, standard Pioneer Modern with the addition of Ikoria, every single one of the format is just like flipping upside down from week to week. I think Ikoria is sweet for the format. You can say what you want about companions, but I think they're adding a lot to Magic right now. And I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the gameplay has been fun.
Yeah.
The question is whether we get bored with it in a couple weeks.
Replayability is going to be a bit of a problem.
This last week in Pioneer has shown a lot of new decks.
Yeah.
Obosh Red is now another red deck to compete alongside Lurrus Burn. We've got, this Abzan Rally deck. Yeah, they're all like mostly playing different companions, but it's not like they're the same deck.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's almost becoming like Brainstorm and Legacy. Like, 60% of the decks have Brainstorm in them, but they're very different styles of decks.
Even in Legacy, where Lurrus is probably too good, that probably has to go. Because I just look at Andrea Mangucci's Twitter, and he's just like, oh, played against 16 out of 16 Lurrus decks. Even those are really different, but it's all still a Lurrus deck, and that's the extreme.
Once you're up over 80%, 90%, that's
it's probably time for that one to go in Legacy. All right, I think my hand is reasonable. It's not insanely fast, but we do slow down post board, so I'm going to keep mine.
My hand is also reasonable, has a clear problem, but if we solve that problem with our draw steps, our hand is great.
All right. We are going to start with the cage. Go.
That's not great.
Yeah, hoping that is just good enough to carry us.
I am going to play another Courtyard into a Cartel Aristocrat.
Okay.
Attack for 1.
That's pretty good. It's going to be a very obnoxious card to deal with.
19.
I'm at 19.
You can go.
Oh, that was the worst draw ever. Let's go with Land Go.
Really does have a slow hand.
Yeah.
Okay, attack for 3.
Okay, no blocks.
You're at 16.
16,
Go to 18.
Okay.
For a Temple Garden and play a Satyr Wayfinder.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's take a Blooming Marsh.
Okay.
Milled over a Cruel Celebrant and pass the turn.
And this is pretty awkward. I have to just stomp you. Cartel Aristocrat is really, really good against the fizzling of Bone Crusher Giant. So
16
you're
all.
16. Yep. I will untap. Now I think I just want to get Bone Crusher down as a nice blocker here, and then I'll pass to you.
Okay, Stitcher Supplier.
Okay.
Mill 3.
Okay.
Play that Blooming Marsh you know about.
Yep.
And pass the turn.
All right. Holding down the fort. Now, our hand isn't excellent by any means, but we definitely can attack. We're at even life total, so I think this is safe. I'm going to play Ferostodon, and we're going to play a second cage. And I'll pass to you. Second cage is decent if you're trying to kill one and then go off with Lurrus, but otherwise it's completely a dead card.
Okay.
Okay, indeed.
Very unlikely that we answer both of these cages through the course of this game.
Yep.
So I am just going to play some creatures.
All right.
I've got a Lurrus and a Hunted Witness. So
Okay.
I'll take 2.
Take 2.
Bring me to 14.
Yep.
And do I want to get in with Cartel Aristocrat?
Yeah, that's the thing, is you do have that source of 2 damage to be able to get in pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's probably what I have to do to be winning this game. I assume you're going to have a removal spell for the Lurrus. Not really much I can do about that, but you're going to have a pretty good attack at that point. Though, you would then... I guess you really only attack with the Bone Crusher Giant then.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I do think I have to get damage in, so let's go for it. I'm going to sack here, take another 1.
Put you to 13.
And attack for 2, giving it pro red.
Pro red. Okay, 14.
You can go.
All right, we'll untap. Not a great draw there. Now the question is, can we attack? You can trade with either of the creatures pretty effectively, so I probably don't want to this turn, but Aristocrat just eventually nickel and diming us here is going to be a problem, so I will have to think of a plan eventually here, but for now I think it's just Obosh.
So you're going to take 2?
Take 2, yep.
Brings you to 12.
All right, your turn.
Not a good sequence of draws.
Okay. Love to hear that. Because same.
Now, we're in an awkward spot where I don't have a ton of resources to be able to sink into this Cartel Aristocrat and still contain your attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, because you are losing some value each time, or you're, in the sense of sacking Hunted Witness, you're losing 2 life each time.
Yeah.
So now it's sack, and we each take 2, which is usually good for a burn deck.
Like, if I did the same thing with the other Hunted Witness this turn, I would go to 11, you would go to 10.
Yep.
And if you just, even if you had nothing and just attacked with all your creatures, what am I doing? Am I putting like Lurrus in front of Bone Crusher, 4 creatures in front of Ferocidon?
Yeah,
and you like just activate Castle and deal me 8, and I go to 3, and I lose all of these creatures and the Lurrus, and now I'm at 3, and I have a Cartel Aristocrat against the Obosh, and you're at 10.
Oh, when you say it like that, I like it.
Like that. That's just not tenable. So
Yeah.
I have to stop attacking. I've got to draw some removal here, and I just haven't done it.
All right. Not a great draw. Yeah, now the question is, what do I want to get aggressive with? I think Ferocidon, and maybe I just can't when you have Aristocrat, because you do have some nice blocks. Maybe Obosh I can get in there with. You could, I'm happy with you chumping, but if you just block with everything, is that something I want to do? I don't really want you to be able to block with everything, so the one surefire way that you wouldn't be able to block with everything is just me attacking with everything and hoping to get you on, some bad blocks, but I don't think that is really that good right now. So, I'm just going to pass as well.
That's a pretty good draw.
Uh-oh.
It's not game-breaking by any means, but it's a good one. I'll play a Fiend Artisan, go to 11.
Yep.
And there are 4 creatures in the graveyard, so it's a 5/5.
That's pretty big.
Granted, with the Obosh, it's just trading for something.
Yeah.
And I will pass the turn.
All right. I think end step, I'm going to hit you for 2.
Yeah, I'm at 9.
Okay.
That's what I expected.
Untap. Oh. That's probably a good draw.
Karizov's Expertise.
Stormbreath Dragon? Is that good? Attack for
So
8.
you take 2, you go to 10.
Yeah.
And I go to 1.
All right, and I got a shock. Wow, Stormbreath Dragon waiting room is really all that was, huh? Okay. Well, I mean, these hate cards were really rough. Really rough for you.
I had 2 Return of the Ranks at the end of that game.
Okay. Gotcha. I just had lands, but, that Stormbreath Triton was absurd.
Yeah, and you were in really good shape regardless.
Yeah.
If I had drawn one of my removal spells and, dealt with the Obosh or the Ferocodon, then, maybe we can start talking, but even then, the Dragon's going to be great.
Yeah, and honestly, what you really wanted is a removal spell to just deal with the one cage, but when I played the second one, then it's a lot worse. Yeah.
Then you just start ignoring the cages and aiming your removal elsewhere.
Yep. All right, interesting. Well, I personally thought that this matchup was going to go way the other way around, but Obosh just being able to have this really late game effect of just doubling your burn spells, I think is really insane. It hasn't necessarily came up, but I was in a position there where if I just draw Collective Defiance, all of a sudden I'm hitting you for 6. I'm discarding my 2 lands, drawing 2 new cards. All I need to find is 1 more burn spell, and you're just straight dead,
Yeah. Obosh is a powerful magic card.
It really is.
Okay.
All right. Well, you got any questions for us, Rob? While we shuffle up for a third, pity game?
Yeah, Histeus would like to know, what do you think about the Heraldic Banner in Pioneer version of Obosh? Or do you think that's something that's just should be relegated to Standard?
It is good in Standard, and it does synergize insanely well with Obosh. Banner is awesome with Obosh, because not only are you casting your 5-drop on turn 4, which is pretty tough to do, but you're essentially giving your creatures +2/+2, or +2/+0. I don't know if it really sinks in with the power level of Pioneer, but it is still something nice to be doing.
I think it's a possibility. You would probably not play Collective Defiance and try to still maintain creature density and all your 1-mana removal. So you can go, turn 3 Banner, shock your blocker, maybe trigger Prowess, get in a pretty big attack. Yeah. If you have 2 Prowess creatures, you're attacking for 6. Yeah. And then next turn, Obosh attack for 4.
I feel like Defiance is pretty good against
for 8.
Yeah, I feel like Defiance is pretty good against Inverter though, right? Making them discard their hand when they've set it up.
You would be sacrificing quite a bit in the Inverter matchup, so you'd probably have to sideboard them then, and then you sideboard cards. So there's definitely a give and take, but you would have to retool the deck to be very creature dense if you want to banner.
And I don't think this is a card where it has to be a set in stone 4 or 0. I think 2 of that card is awesome because you never want to draw a second anyways. So I could see just a 2 of. Let's not get crazy with it, but yeah. All right, keep those questions coming in. Thanks, y'all. All right, we got time for one more game with this match. How's your hand?
It's not great, but I think it's the bottom end of the keep range.
Same. Very much the bottom end of the keep range. I could easily get wrecked here.
Okay. Blooming Marsh, pass.
Okay. That made it a lot better. Pass to you.
Send this into a shock.
All right. Nah, buddy, I wouldn't do that to you. I wad slash you. The way more expensive shock. All right, here go.
Stitcher Supplier.
Okay.
And Blooming Marsh, go.
All right, 2 to the face.
I'm at 18.
Bone Crusher Giants haven't been necessarily ideal. All right. Now let's go with... Yeah, I'll just play Bone Crusher. Pass to you.
That's a neat one. Stitcher Supplier.
Yep.
And I'm going to shock to 16 and cast this return while I can. We can cast it for 3, which is nice. I definitely want to get Cutthroat, definitely want Cartel Aristocrat, and definitely want Hunted Witness.
And they just stay for good, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right.
Pass the turn.
That's scary.
Now, with 2 suppliers in play and the Cartel, I'll be able to fill my graveyard if I draw a Rally or another return.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Lurrus set up. The Aristocrat's never dying.
Well, we got to play our Ferocodon now for sure. Well... Maybe we want to play this first. Yeah, I'm going to play this first and then that. And then I'll just pass. Definitely scared of that. We're kind of just leaning on Ferocodon. Otherwise, you just get to kind of go crazy here. that a good one?
You're 20?
20. And you're at 16, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Cartel Aristocrat is such a hard card to play against. Messes with combat so much. Messes with all these adventure creatures, removal. It's just really, really good.
You have 3 in hand?
3, yep. Yeah, you got a lot of good options that are scary. I do not have that very powerful cage effect right now.
I think I'm just gonna go for the Lurrus this turn.
Yep.
So I take 1 to 15.
Yep.
Then I'll play Supplier, go to 14.
Yep.
Mill 3. And then play this tapped.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
All right. Not an ideal draw there. So we can just jam Obosh now to make sure that whenever you play a creature, you get dealt 2. Quite good. But I do really want to stop you from getting Fiend Artisan back. That is a way that we are in a bit of trouble.
I mean, I don't have any other creatures in the yard. It's not very big.
That's true. That's true. It is just free value. I definitely can attack. So I'm not trying to get aggressive that way. And if I'm not getting aggressive, I don't think a Bosch is really needed. So yeah, we're going to shock Lurrus. Get rid of that now.
Okay, I'll sack and give per red. You lose 1.
Okay.
You're at 19.
19, and I'll just pass to you. All right, so does have the sack engine, so at any point you can just machine gun hit me for like, what, 6 here, right? Yeah, that's pretty scary. You don't get to gain the life, though, which is huge, because I don't think I'd be able to come back from that too well.
Sack to Aristocrat, mill 3.
Okay.
You
Sure.
lose 1.
I'm at 18.
Yeah, that'll do. Pro red.
That's probably game, huh?
Attack for 2.
Okay, 16.
I have the rally.
Yep.
I'm just gonna sack these 2.
Yep, I got a
mill
14.
6. So yeah, that brings you to 14.
Yep.
Sack this. I lose 1 when the token comes in. You lose
Yep.
1. So 13 all.
Yep.
Sack this. You go to 12.
12.
A rally for 3.
Yep.
Now we've got a bunch of ETB triggers on the stack to deal me damage, but I can respond to those.
And I got land, so I'm definitely dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to get all your creatures. Then you're...
So this is
yeah.
3, 4, 5, 10 triggers to put me to 3. Actually, I'm only even going to go to 1 when these get sacrificed, but...
Yeah, and honestly, you put all the triggers on the stack and then sack them in response.
Yeah.
So normally that would be a dangerous amount just because I could fire a shock and win the game. But with the way that you can set this up, you get to kill me before the triggers even resolve.
Got 2 Zulaport Cutthroats and what? 2, 4, 6, 7. These each count as 2, so that's 11 more bodies to sacrifice. So that's 22, 24. This is 25 damage.
Yeah, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Just 25 damage. And I mean, that's what we got to see when you actually did your thing, you know? When Cage doesn't shut you down. But I mean, even if I have Cage in play, like, I don't know really what you're going to do. You're going to have to draw and destroy that at some point. But then we're just going to sit and stare at each other for a while until one of us either draws removal on your end or Storm Breath on my end to be able to like go over. But yeah, it flooded out and didn't have some of the key pieces. So, all right. Well, that is going to be a 2-1 in favor of Obosh Red here. So we'll still be one matchup for the good guys. But, an impressive performance from Rally as well. But this deck really did look pretty strong.
It definitely did. It's kind of interesting that I'm not sure if Cage would actually be the card in that deck sideboard if it weren't for Obosh.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly there for Underworld Breach, and you would probably play Damping Sphere otherwise, but by playing Cage, you do get to hit this deck that is on the upswing. So I think we're going to see more Cages coming up, which
I mean Lurrus too, so I think it's fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the benefits of the Abzan Rally deck right now is there aren't a ton of Cages around.
Yeah,
Cage is definitely a problem.
Basically Dredge and Pioneer, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever this deck becomes really good, Cage becomes a card that people bring in, just like Leyline and Rest in Peace against Dredge, and then the deck is really, really bad, and then it ebb and flows,
Yep.
Yeah.
Just definitely that kind of deck. Fortunately, like when you're playing Lurrus Mirrors, you kind of know your opponent doesn't have Cage.
Yeah.
Which is also a nice thing, and it keeps the numbers of that card low. But in matchups like this, the Cage is really, really good.
I like it. So next up, I'm going to be playing a sweet deck by one of our very own Ryan Overturf. He top forward the Lotus Box deck, and it just looks awesome. You're only killing people with Kroxa. It's a Grixis Kroxa version. You also have Lurrus as a way to bring it back and stuff. But really, I'm trying to just kill everything of yours, control, try to rip apart your hand a decent amount, and then win with the very powerful Titan.
The deck is affectionately termed a Grixis Napkin.
Grixis Napkin?
Yeah, because he wrote the list out on the back of a napkin.
Really? Okay. I bet Cedric likes that as a deck name.
Yeah, can we go
Grixis Napkin?
We'll
okay, perfect. We got the go ahead. What are you going to be playing?
I'm going to be playing another breakout deck from this last week. It won one of the challenges, top 8 at several other events. You see a lot of it in the top 16s. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
It's been around for a little bit, just hanging on the fringe, but apparently getting better. There's a new, maybe a tuned list, but this is Lurrus Heroic, a Boros Shell. Playing a really low curve, lower than most. It's got all the 8 prowess creatures like Obosh Red and favorite hoplites. So 12 1-drops, really being aggressive with Titan Strength and Gird for battle. So a deck that is very scary to play against, but you're going to just try to kill all my stuff. Yeah. I'm going to hopefully try to protect one key threat and ride it.
Yeah, God's willing is not what I want to see from your end for this next matchup. But it is basically just a Boros Feather deck, but you can't play Feather because of Lurrus.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because that was the longevity. That's how you went really long with the Boros decks, and you were completely fine with it. So I'll be interested to see if Lurrus is even worth it there. In that matchup.
It's another card that helps you go long.
That's true. And it is something that, starting with 8 cards has a little bit more value than just you having feathers in your deck. So I'm sure it is better, but it is hard for me to take away Boros Feather. Or what was the card?
Feather the Redeemed.
Feather the Redeemed. Take away Feather the Redeemed because I think that card is awesome. But all right, we're going to take a short 5-minute break, and we're going to be right back with round number 2 here on Versus Live.